Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Remember That podcast. We are so glad you chose to spend a little time with us today. Now, if you're into movies, nostalgia, and great conversation, then you're in the right place. So before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss an episode. Plus, it helps us out a lot. Do you have a movie or a game or something like that you'd like for us to review or do? Shoot us an email at rememberthatpodcast@yahoo.com because we'd love to hear from you guys. And hey, make sure to check out our friends' podcast as well. Those links will be down in the description of this episode. There's some great content out there and we think you guys might really like it. Alright, having said all that, it's time for the show. Let's get at it.
Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fray. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes.
Hey everybody, tonight we're going to try a little something special. We're going to break down the new season of Stranger Things. Now this is going to be part one of a 3-part series, and what we're going to do, we're just going to come on here and we're going to break down the episodes as they release them. So tonight we're going to go over the first 4 episodes that were released a few weeks ago. So having said that, guys, I don't know, how's it start off? Everybody works at a radio station now. Dustin's getting beat up in the hallways. There's been a lot of stuff go down since since season 4, in other words.
Yeah, we see Hawkins has completely changed. At the end of season 4, after they, kind of have their fight with Vecna, Hawkins looks as if it's like split open. This place is in a tragic state. But in the beginning of season 5, it looks like the military has stepped into Hawkins. They have sealed off some of these areas with some big metal plates from where
the whole town's quarantined.
Yeah, the whole town's quarantined. Only like authorized personnel are allowed in and out, which is we see. I can't remember his name. He's kind of the gentleman who's more of a conspiracy theorist who ends up helping the crew in like season 2. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Season 3, but he's allowed in and out. But yeah, the military's taken over. They got everyone quarantined, and now they're kind of trying to investigate the Upside Down on their own. And we see our crew start to try to make plans together to do what they call crawls, and that's the name of the episode. So they've got all these crawls, and we see a lot of stuff actually happen. These episodes are long too, so there's a lot of content in here, but that's kind of how it starts. It kind of pans over Hawkins.
So if you are into playing games that are kind of dungeon crawlers like Diablo or
right,
Dota,
I get it. That's why they call them crawls. Then I get it now.
So
I get it now.
All they're doing is doing a dungeon crawl, and what they're looking for basically is they're looking for Vecna. But the thing that I didn't understand about this whole thing is they said that they had gone out for like 45 times. This is like the 45th crawl or whatever. And they have not hit that big wall yet. Like whenever they come to the big wall, they haven't seen it. They don't know what's going on. Like, really? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think they're kind of held back by the military over there because the military is inside the Upside Down with like their established base, and so I'm thinking that's kind of has made them only be able to do certain areas at a time because they're like mapping the city in like small little blocks and saying, okay, Vecna's not here, he's not here. I think they're doing it like that.
Yeah, they're just kind of also they're having to keep everything secret. Yeah, they're having to keep everything secret. That's why they are using the radio station to let them know when the next crawl is going to be because they have to do it all in code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's happened since the end of season 4. And I know they explain a lot of that in books that have came out. So I haven't read any of those, but I'm planning on it because I'm real interested in how they got from season 4 to where we're at now in season 5. I'm real interested in that because there's a lot that's happened.
Did it say how much time had passed from the end of season 4 to the beginning of season 5?
From what I guess, it's about 2 years.
Yeah, it's either a year or 2 years. They're still in high school. They're I want to say they might be juniors. They'd be juniors or seniors at this point. And I will say too, one key thing that happened at the very beginning of the episode, you actually see Will when he was in the Upside Down back in like season 1.
Yeah.
And there's basically like a tendril that, basically kind of like alien style, gets attached to him and implants him with some kind of foreign material. And throughout this like chapter or volume of episode, you kind of start to see Will doing some strange things. And you've always literally seen him do that, like with like goosebumps popping up. But it starts to kind of plant the seeds for what we kind of find out later on in this volume as to what's going on with him.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought it was cool when Will was laying there and what song is that he was singing? It showed him in that little shack in the Upside Down. He was laying there singing.
Oh, what was that song? It was like, I cannot remember. This would be a good trivia question, Daniel.
I'm going to have to go
I
back.
can't remember.
I can't remember it either, but what I thought was cool was they actually played that song, or she sang that song or something in the first season of Stranger Things. And what that scene did was it actually showed him singing it in the Upside Down, which is how she heard it in season 1. So it's kind of like, playing the parallels between season 1 and what he was doing in the Upside Down that we never seen in season 5. I thought that was cool, or season 1. But Max is still in the hospital. She's been in a coma for 2 years or a year and a half, whatever it is. And I'm going to say this, if Max has been in a coma for 2 years, her muscles would be totally useless.
Totally useless.
I need to look up how much time has passed between those 2 seasons. Because
I can't remember what
Well, Max's muscles are totally useless.
I think I had it figured at 2 years. Yeah, regardless, Max is having problems.
Let's see here.
They come visit her.
It's saying about 1 to 2 years. I think it's I think it's a year.
Yeah.
But
regardless.
I mean, our characters are older too. You can definitely
our characters have 5 o'clock shadows in these episodes. Man, I'm sitting there watching
no doubt.
And I'm going, bro is like 30.
Okay, it's 18 months.
18 months. Yeah, I knew it was close to 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So Max is still in a coma, and Dustin has figured out how when they put Hopper in the Upside Down, I think they've put some kind of beacon on him so they can track him with they're basically homing in on that beacon, and they can track him from the normal side in the Upside Down. So all that has happened between season 4 and season 5. So that's why I'm curious to wonder, what all has happened, because they've done a lot between season 4 and season 5.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of investigating. Like I believe, I guess her name is what's Mike's older sister name? What's her name? I can tell. I have the cast.
We suck.
It's okay. I have the cast here. It's a lot.
Man.
It's a lot of names to remember. It's too many. But her name is Nancy Wheeler. Yes, Nancy Wheeler. Has, she's been doing a lot of investigating, and she has that journalistic mind, and so she's been kind of watching the military pretty heavily. But the big thing is Steve and Robin owning the radio tower. That's how they're having the equipment to be able to do all this stuff, and then they're having all the runs. Where Murray, that's his name, he brings them all the equipment they've been asking for. All that stuff gets kind of established. We see Steve Harrington and we see Jonathan Byers. They're still kind of arguing a little bit over Nancy. I mean, some people have complained about that because they're thinking okay, surely Steve needs to move on, or one of these guys needs to, get it figured out. But
I thought they had that worked out a long time ago, man, but I guess they don't.
Right. My favorite character in the series has been Steve, because I feel like his character arc has been really sick, from being a bully to being a hero, essentially. I thought that was his character arc's been really cool.
That's kind of my favorite character right now too, is Steve Harrington.
That's kind of what the first episode goes.
I've always liked the dynamic with Steve Harrington and the tech kid.
Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin.
Yeah,
Dustin. Yeah.
Well, they have good banter in the series a lot. They're very, very funny together on the screen.
But I guess the first big thing that happens, guys, is Miss Wheeler, the Demogorgon, shows up and just straight up mutilates her and her husband.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think it's kind of cool how they showed that with flashbacks and then catching up in real time and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. But he doesn't kill them, but he puts
Yeah.
them in the hospital. And Nancy and them show up, and they're, her little sister. What's her little sister's name, Cade?
It's Holly.
Holly. Holly
is the
gets
little girl. Yeah.
Yeah, so she gets kidnapped, and we start to find out that Vecna is kidnapping nothing but children. So
Right. Yeah,
that
he's doing a bunch of stuff. Kind of, I think he's trying to make multiple versions of Will. I think that's what he's trying to do because he's kidnapping all the kids in the town. Um, Kind of similar to Mr. Pennywise here. Which I thought
yeah,
that was kind of funny. But yeah, he's been kidnapping everybody. That Demogorgon does attack them. Um, and for some reason, like Ollie gets like this special treatment. Like she's in like some crazy, mansion or something. And then this is where we actually, at a certain point, a little down the road, we get revealed to us what's happened to our girl who's in the coma there because they actually come into
Max.
contact. Yeah,
Yeah.
Max and her come into contact.
Yeah, that was like
Well, that house is Vecna's house.
It is
Yeah.
Vecna's house, and that was a huge reveal about how Max gets back in this thing. She's been hiding out in this cave. For some reason, Vecna can't go in the cave. So that's how she's been basically surviving.
Did they ever explain why Vecna can't go in that cave? Is that going to be
It'll
to be announced?
It'll be to be announced.
It has not been announced yet.
Like
Okay,
they didn't
okay.
explain it yet, but it's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we got 11. Let's catch up with her. She's been doing all this training to kill Vecna. Hopper's some
Mhm.
kind of mercenary now. He's going in and out of the Upside Down doing these crawls. And I guess the main mission they've had is they're looking for Vecna.
Yeah.
And I guess as they get closer to him, that's where the Demogorgon and everything, all this stuff gets kicked up again.
Yeah, so the Demogorgon that got sent out, he's kind of like the number 2 in command. He was the one that went and got Will to begin with.
Yeah.
I think not the one that 11 killed at the end of season 1, but whenever Will was being chased by the Demogorgon, I think this is the Demogorgon that got him.
Yeah, this dude's a bad mamma jamma, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Another cool scene I thought was cool is when the Demogorgon busted into the Wheeler house, and she sees that he's after her daughter. She busts that wine glass and is like squares up with him, starts stabbing him in that little flower face of his.
Giving him the business,
and then he totally wrecks
like, that's
her.
brutal, dude.
Then he
then he's like, enough of that.
He puts his whole arm through her chest or something. It was crazy. He messed her up.
Yeah, she's lucky she's not dead, and so is her husband.
Yeah.
But they go to finally, for some reason, they won't let them visit her in the hospital. So they find her in the hospital, and she can't speak, but she starts writing down that Holly's imaginary friend's name's Henry.
Well,
that's how we find out that Henry's Vecna.
Yeah, he was actually called Mr. something. Mr. Sunshine or Mr. I can't remember.
It's like Mr. Watson.
Yeah, Mr. Watson or something.
I think it was Mr.
But
Watson.
it turns out Mr. Watson, which is what all these other kids has been seeing, is actually Henry.
Yeah, which is Vecna.
Yes. Also number 1.
Now, there's another part in the show where it flashes back and there's somebody handing out flyers to a dance or a play or something like that. And do you guys remember the scene I'm talking about? It flashes back to where Henry's like in high school.
Yeah, back in the 50s.
That was actually
back in the 50s.
Yeah,
that was actually with Max. So Max was walking Holly through her journey through being in a coma after she was taken out by Vecna in season 4. And she starts going through, I guess, because she's inside basically like Vecna's like head or his memories or something. I don't know how that works exactly, but she's in his memories. So she goes to the 50s when he was younger. And then she kind of starts pulling back the layers and seeing him actually being in the facility in Hawkins where he kills all of the patients there. And then I want to say maybe she even sees whenever 11 casts him away into the Upside Down when she was a little girl. But yeah, that was all just kind of setting like the background for, what has Max been doing. And you actually see a really cool scene here because Lucas has been visiting Max in this prison or in the hospital while she's been in this mental prison. And every time he plays that song for her, it actually helps her get out. But he doesn't
Right.
know that it's actually helping her. And so he stops playing the song, and then Vecna finds her. And then I think the process repeats until she kind of makes her way to the desert where he's afraid to go in that cave. And then she kind of has made that her home until
Right.
she figures out what to do.
What about that scene where she almost gets out and the
That's what I was
tape
gonna
stops
say.
and he has to rewind
He
it?
had to rewind the
That
tape and
yeah,
close the
that's what I'm
door,
saying,
and then
man.
Vecna showed up, and then Vecna figured out that's what she was trying to do. So then I
Yeah.
think maybe he stepped up guard in that, because she had to go to the house and then go up into the attic,
Yeah.
and like that's how she
Yeah.
was at where she was at, and so then he cut off access to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know a lot's happened in the show, for us to recall everything exactly, and, we're trying to hit all the main points. But there's a point where Hopper gets stranded in the Upside Down, and they lose contact with him. They don't know what's happened. I believe there's been some issue in the Upside Down where like either I think some of the Demogorgons are starting to kind of go rogue and really like
Oh,
target
really?
yeah. I'm trying to remember. My memory's a little fuzzy on it. I'm trying to remember the reason as to why Hopper kind of gets stranded over there, but he
Well,
does. And 11 goes in there and he finds out that she's in there and he's really mad about it.
he gets in he sneaks in the normal way. He figures out kind of where to get on the truck, and then he's gonna basically
Mhm.
jump in the back of this truck, take the truck into the underground, and then he's gonna leave the truck, map out kind of where the army guys are going, and then he gets back with the truck. That's the way that I figured that they've been doing it. And so what happened
Yeah.
is the truck got on up through there, the door closed and all that, so now they're in. But then they got attacked by like 3 or 4 demigorgons, and it wiped out the
Yeah.
army, the army guys that he was with. And so then he was on his own. And so whenever 11 went in, and she got pulled in going after the demogorgon that attacked Holly and her mom. She was
That's
that door
right.
hadn't closed yet. So she went in specifically to go kill that demigorgon, and then she ended up meeting up with Hopper. And so that's when,
And that's actually how the government found out she was like out in public because they saw her on some kind of footage or
yeah,
camera on a street lot or
yeah.
something.
And so then they figure out, oh, she's in the Upside Down. They go to the wall. They can't get past the wall. Don't know what's going on with the wall.
Yeah, Hopper's over there stabbing it with a knife.
Yeah, like that's going to do
Yeah.
something.
You see that?
And then that's actually how the army guys tracked 11 down, because the one guy, they were going to leave. Like they didn't see nothing. They were going to leave, and then he saw Hopper's stupid knife, and so then they turned that big
He
thing
left.
on that was the big siren thing that kind of disabled
Yeah.
11's powers, and so then
Yeah.
That's her kryptonite.
yeah, so then that ended up screwing a bunch of stuff. But I did not realize that Sarah Connor is in this movie
Yeah.
or in this show.
Yeah, she plays Dr. K.
Yeah. I'm
Yep,
sitting there
Dr.
and I'm
K.
going,
And man, she has aged.
that's what I was
very
going to say.
badly.
I'm sitting there watching it and I'm going, man, she
How
looks
old is
very
she?
familiar. And then I was like,
You know who she reminds me of? Back in Beetlejuice Part 1, that caseworker that's in the dead place
Oh my
Juno,
gosh.
that's got
Juno.
her throat cut.
It's Juno, the
Yeah,
caseworker.
Juno.
Dude, that's hilarious.
But
Yeah,
But
that's
they
who she
eventually
reminds me
encounter
of.
so then 11 and Hopper, they storm the compound, the army guy compound, military compound. 11 jumps the fence, and she like takes out a couple of the guards or whatever, gets Hopper in, and they end up facing off against Sarah Connor and the other guy that was the one that told her about him. And I forget how they get out of that, but they end up going, Hopper figures out how to get to the next room. And whenever he got to the next room,
Yeah.
that was another big reveal. What was it that was in the room?
All right, guys, listen, if you're listening to this podcast and your love for horror movies isn't just something you watch, it's definitely an identity. So if you want clothing that reflects your passion, whether you're at a convention, a midnight screening, or just chilling on the couch watching a classic slasher, then you need to check out our new sponsor, Cult of Cult Clothing Company. Now, Cult of Cult, they create original, high-quality gear for the dedicated horror fans. You know, we're talking shirts, hoodies, apparel with incredible designs inspired by everything we celebrate on the show. Shoot, I just ordered that Halloween 3 hoodie, man. It is so dope, man. I love that thing. So if you're, into the horror genre, man, then it's definitely time to upgrade your wardrobe. Go visit thecultofcult.com and check out their merchandise, man. And as you check out, they're giving our listeners a sweet deal, man. Enter the code HORRORPOD at checkout to get 10% off of your entire order. Number 8.
Yeah, so it was,
yeah.
It was number
number
8
8.
from season 2. Yeah, they're in that lab there, and Hopper and 11 have kind of gotten in there. They're trying to, I guess, look for some of the secrets that they've got in there, or maybe stop their operation. But yeah, eventually 11 does get taken down by Dr. K with that weapon that dampens her powers, and then actually Hopper gets not really taken out, but he gets strangled by that one monster that starts it's like the tentacle monster grabs a hold of him, right?
Yeah, that dude was bad, man.
Yeah, that was a creepy looking thing.
Yeah, and heat hurt it. That's the only thing that could hurt it was heat.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then so if you remember 8 was in season 2. And her power was, if I'm not mistaken, her power was that she could create a false kind of environment, and she could make people think that they're seeing stuff that they're not really seeing.
I have no clue. I can't even
I'm
remember.
thinking that's what she can do.
Oh, you talking about 11's powers?
No, I'm talking about 8.
No, number
8's
8.
powers.
Oh, number
the girl
8.
That was
yeah,
behind that door.
From season 2, I don't. It's very similar to 11. They all kind of have like the force essentially, and then they can get inside people's heads.
It seemed to me like she could create false images in people's minds or something.
Yeah, she could, because remember she done something with a car that made people think a car was going to hit them or something like that.
Yeah,
and the car wasn't there. There was some scenario. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, I think they've all got similar powers, but they're kind of like the X-Men. They all got their specialty,
Yeah, they all got their own stuff going on.
So basically, this thing ends up. They're trying to. There is a lot we've got to go over.
They're trying to save them kids too. On the other side,
they're trying to save the kids.
Yeah,
right? And the army has rounded up all the kids in the town and put them in this, I guess, little base or whatever. So they're trying to get them out of there and save them, because they know Vecna is really going to be coming and getting the kids. So they're trying to get them to somewhere safe, because they know what the Vecna's plan is now. But during all that, at the climax of it, they're running out, and those Demogorgons, there's like a bunch of them now, and they're just destroying everybody, ripping everybody apart. What's Will's buddy's name there?
Mike.
Mike. Mike is leading I guess it's some of the kids, whatever, across there. Anyhow, everybody's about to die, right?
Yeah.
At different scenarios, there's some of them in a tunnel, some of them outside, and Vecna shows up and just like slashes toward. What's Will's mom's name? I can't remember. Winona Ryder. What's her name in here?
Oh,
yeah. Her character's name in this is, I got it right here. Yeah, she is. With her name is Joyce. Yes, Joyce Byers.
Joyce. All right, so Winona Ryder / Joyce gets knocked to the side. Now, here's where I was going with the scene earlier. Vecna could have easily just killed her like he did everybody else. But instead, he just force pushes her to the side, right? Well, going back to that scene I was talking about earlier, back in the 50s, where that girl is handing out those flyers, or that girl is Joyce back in the 50s. And some of these internet sleuths has zoomed in on that flyer she was handing out, and there's all kinds of names on that flyer. One of them's Hopper. One of them is what's her name? Wheeler's Nancy's mom, and Henry's name's on there. So all these kids, they went to high school together, and this is what we find out. They all went to high school together, which the going theory is that's why Vecna didn't kill Joyce, because, they were all probably friends in high school, and he just didn't want to kill her. But that's what that whole scene flashback, that was Joyce handing out those flyers. And you come to find out that Henry was there, Hopper was there. There's several names on that flyer, if you zoom in and read it, that are actually in the show now as grown-ups.
Dude, I totally missed all of that. Like, I had no idea that.
I missed it too. Thank God for TikTok.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I did not catch that. I was like, one thing that happens in this season, we see Will develop his powers, and that's of course what we're about to talk about here at the end. But a little before this, we see him actually start to have visions, like he's looking through the eyes of the Demogorgon, like he's looking through the eyes of Vecna. He actually ends up spotting one of the children that Vecna's targeting next. So that prompts all our crew to go and get this kid. Now, this stuff takes place a little earlier than what we're mentioning now, but it kind of builds up, what they were doing and why they were trying to get all the kids out of that base. So they used that kid as like a spy almost when they got him to understand that Vecna was trying to kill him, or Mr. Watson. So he was kind of the inside guy. They try to get everybody out. Vecna somehow finds out about this, maybe through Will or something, and then he escapes from the Upside Down into the real world, and the military just gets bombarded by him and all the Demogorgons. It's not even close. A lot of people online have made fun of it in a way because everybody knows that like fire is like the main weapon for these things, and so you would think the military would just be all armed with just flamethrowers, but there's only like one guy that's got one. That's some people nitpick it like that. I don't care too much about it. I figured I'd point it out.
The price of gas is high, man. That's why.
Right.
Well,
So
I mean,
they use some bullets, but
I mean, you look at the Wheeler's dad, Mr. Wheeler. Dude is completely in denial.
Yeah.
He's out in the backyard hitting golf balls and everything. You just got invaded by the Upside Down 18 months ago, and your kids
just like, these kids.
all of your kids are heavily involved in that. How much in denial are you, man? I mean,
now is not the time to work on your golf game, bro.
No, dude, you need to somehow get out of that freaking place. It's like dairy. It's cursed, man.
I mean, he had his wife was about to have an affair with the Red Power Ranger in like season 3 or something.
Yes.
That's Max's brother. He was the Red Power Ranger in one of them movies, the Power Ranger movie.
Hey, listen, R.I.P. Billy. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Just as soon as Billy like showed an ounce of like normalcy, immediate, killed him off.
Man,
and justice.
That was a sad thing.
I'm still screaming justice for Bob. But you can't just kill. You just can't kill Bob, man. He was
and
they just killed Samwise Gamgee is what they did, man. You can't do that. No. You killed dude from the Goonies, man, while he was trying to help him, Goonies style.
Yeah. Vecna's a jerk.
Vecna is a jerk,
but
man.
As this scene is playing out, everybody's about to die, right?
They're getting
right as soon as
jacked right now.
Yeah, and right as soon as everybody's about to get the final blow dealt to them, everybody just freezes, and then it zooms in on Will. He's got his eyes rolled back in his head, and he is straight up using some powers to stop everything. And basically, that's the reveal that Will has just gotten his powers. And I'll be honest with you, man, that was a cool scene. I stood up and I was cheering and all this other stuff.
That was a sick scene, and
it was sick. It really was.
For me, it kind of leads into like what I'm thinking is like the outcome of the show. And I know you've got some thoughts too, Corky.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking that with his powers awakening and the threat of Vecna being he's so insanely powerful, I'm thinking that 11 and 11 and Will go and just use their powers against Vecna, but we have a character death of some sort.
Somebody gonna die.
And I almost want to say, I almost think that Will may bite the bullet because I don't see 11 going because she has this thing going on with Mike. although it will be tragic, but she's been
All
in
right.
so many tough situations. I don't know. That's just
Let's
one
do
of them.
this,
I
guys.
think is going to end up
So I've
going.
got a theory.
Let's do
I've got a
this.
theory myself, but go
All right,
ahead.
hold on just
Go
a
ahead.
second. All right. Here's how we're going to close this out. I want everybody, each one of you, to give me your theories on how it's going to end and who's going to die.
Okay.
Daniel, you go
All
first.
right, I'll go first. Now, I've thought for a while that all of like Will, Mike, everybody is going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons, okay? And all of this stuff that's been going on for these 5 seasons is their D&D campaign. So they're in a campaign.
That would trip me up.
Now,
Dude, I can concur.
now, Mike just told Will, when he was talking to him, Will was kind of down and all this stuff because he felt like he wasn't a big help and all this stuff. And Mike told Will, he said, "Man, you're our wizard. So in Dungeons and Dragons, you pick a character, and a wizard. I mean, any character in Dungeons and Dragons, once you level up, is pretty powerful character. But a wizard, you level a wizard up, it's a pretty powerful character." And we just now saw Will come into his own as pretty much like a wizard. So what I think is you may have a big climactic death with either Will or Mike or somebody else that is near and dear to everybody's hearts. But in the end, their character may have died, but they're all playing Dungeons and Dragons in real life. That's what I think.
A sick theory.
That's what I think is going on. So
let me give you a
That would
theory.
be so
you
cool.
probably gonna have a big character death, but they just gonna die in the game. They ain't gonna die in real life.
Well, here's some here's the online theory I've read that kind of supports that, Daniel. I just want to go ahead and be upfront that I too think that could be a scenario of how it ends. The theory that supports that is the rumor has that they filmed the final scene of this series way back during season 1.
When they're all sitting in the
So,
basement playing
that's
Dungeons and Dragons.
The going theory is when they were filming season 1, they went ahead and filmed the series finale back then. And then, so if that's true, then what you're saying
That's
just
crazy.
might be true. And that would be baller. I would like that ending. So, Cade, what's your guess, buddy?
Man, you just blew my mind. Both of you guys just blew my mind with those
Hold on,
theories.
Daniel, who's your guess for the deaths?
Who do I think's gonna die?
Yeah.
It's either gonna be Will or 11 for the big one. And I think maybe even Hopper might die. There could be more than one.
Oh, I think Hopper's dead. Yeah.
I think Hopper could die. I'm scared for Steve Harrington because he shows a lot of heroics.
I think at this point everybody's on the table.
Everybody's on the table, but I think the big one, if they're gonna kill somebody off for the maximum effect, it's either gonna be Will or 11.
All right.
Wow.
Cade, what you got?
Yeah, I will say this. If they do end up going the route with it all being them playing D&D, like imagine the ending being like them playing D&D and like the camera pans out and you like see a Demogorgon like run off in the woods or something. That would be so creepy, dude. I would trip if I.
Now, keep in mind, during that campaign back in season 1, they were fighting a Demogorgon. That was who they were fighting.
Yeah, very similar, very similar. So, but in terms of like just the story we have now and who is going to die, I'm thinking it's going to be Will because I think with his connection to Vecna now, with how strong it is, how he can sense him, I think we may have something similar here to, sorry if you haven't seen Harry Potter, the connection Harry Potter and Voldemort have together. Maybe, if he dies, maybe, Will dies in a sense. I know that didn't exactly happen in Harry Potter, but, Harry Potter had to die in order to defeat Voldemort. Maybe this is something that has to happen like that because that would be pretty tragic. But, dude, I hope they do what you guys are talking about because if they do, this will be like one of the most legendary. I know people will be like, some people will probably not like it, but I would love that. I think that will be the most
somebody will have a problem there. I think that would be a dope
thing
ending
ever.
myself.
I think that will be a really cool conclusion.
I think if it does make somebody mad, it'll be because they're like, "Oh, that's too obvious." People will be like, "No, that's too obvious."
I never thought about it. That would be so. That would be so crazy. I mean, it's been a while.
All
Obviously,
right,
this
Caden,
series has taken
what's
a
your
lot of
guess for
breaks, but
deaths?
yeah, mine's gonna be Will. I think it's gonna be Will.
God, man, that'll suck. I don't want Will to die.
Yeah,
All right,
unfortunately, I think
I've got a
I
pretty big
like his
theory.
character,
He'll die saving Mike.
I think so.
Yeah,
Something like
probably.
that.
Probably sacrifice himself.
Yeah, it'll
So
be a sacrifice.
let me break you guys down my theory.
Break
on
it down.
Now I'll say this, Daniel. I agree with your theory too. I've went with that one for a while, but since you said that one, I'm going to say this one. So the Duffer Brothers are on record as saying that Vecna is the most misunderstood character in. So if you go back to season 1, they're playing D&D and they're fighting the Demogorgon or whoever it is they're fighting there at the end. Dustin has to roll a perfect 20 to win. All right, and that's very rare to roll a perfect 20. All right. In this series now, we have 11. They have introduced number 8, and now they have introduced, and we know that Vecna is number 1. And we also know that Will is siphoning his powers from Vecna. Technically, Will doesn't have powers. He's siphoning his powers from Vecna, so he's using Vecna's powers. Now, the real enemy in this series, from what I'm understanding, from what I'm putting together, is the Mind Flayer, or Frayer, however
Yeah.
you say it.
It exists
So-
outside of those guys.
Yeah, my theory is, and I really think this is how it's going to go down because there's no reason to bring 8 back. You're going to have 11, and you're going to have 8, which equals 19. 19's not enough to beat the Mind Flayer. You've got to have how many more?
One.
One more.
More.
Well, I think 11, 8,
Shoot.
and I think Will siphon Vecna's powers from 1, and I think it'll take all 3 of them to defeat the Mind Flayer, and that's how it'll end. Because 11, 8, and 1
I'm gonna give
equals
you guys
20.
the keys to some 80s horror show and let you guys write something. Y'all do a good job.
Yeah, that just
Y'all got some
shows that
great thoughts.
we think about this stuff way too in depth, man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
y'all are
I spend
awesome,
10
man.
hours a day at work by myself, so, But if you think about it, this whole series is based around this whole series is based around a game of Dungeons and
Yep.
Dragons. That that's a big part of this series. And if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, rolling the perfect 20, if you do that, you're the man, And if you have to roll a 20 to win, you probably ain't going to win. And I think it's very curious that, 11, 8, and 1 equals 20.
And
So that's my theory, that it's going to be those 3 doing battle against the Mind
that is some
Flayer.
really good misdirection on that too, because we haven't heard anything from the Mind Flayers since season 2.
No,
So
that dude's out
out
there.
it's out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. I think the Mind, is it Flayer or Frayer?
I think it's Mind Flayer.
I thought it was Flayer.
It is Flayer. F-L-A-Y. F-L-A-Y-E-R.
All right. Well, I think he is controlling everything. I think he even controls Vecna.
Well, it rolls the upside down based on this Google search.
Yeah, he is the ruler of the upside down. So that's who we're going to be fighting at the end. And there's going to be a big epic reveal of the Mind Flayer. And if I can see it now in my head, Will's going to siphon all the powers from Vecna. It'll kill Vecna, because Will will take all Vecna's powers, and then it'll take all 3 of them. Somebody will probably die in the fight, but it'll take all 3 of them to defeat the Mind Frayer. And my pick for deaths is probably Will, 11, Dustin, or Steve. One of those I just mentioned. One of those are going to die.
Yeah,
no doubt about
it.
I could see that 100%. I could see that. Those are great great insights, fellas. That makes me excited. Hopefully I don't get let down. Because now I'm wanting one of those 2 endings. So hopefully
they're gonna drop 4 more episodes around
on
Christmas Day or Christmas Eve.
Christmas evening,
Christmas, yeah.
8 o'clock Christmas night.
All right, so then what we'll do for all the viewers that have tuned in, what we'll do is we'll give everybody a chance to watch those 3 episodes, and then we'll do another little short podcast about those, and then we'll really have some discussions to see whose theories have held up and whose went bust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This will be a 3-part series. This is part 1. after the next 4 episodes drop, we'll do that as a part 2, and then when the finale airs on New Year's, once we see that, then we'll drop the 3rd part, and that'll be the finale of this little mini series we're doing right here right now.
And
all right, guys, anybody you want to add anything before we cut out of here?
I was going to say,
I think we covered it pretty good.
If we get a good response for this, we're going to try to do the seasons coming up.
Yeah, we'll do some more stuff like this, definitely.
Yeah.
So, hey, everybody, put down in the comments what you think's going to happen. Let's see who gets it right.
Yeah, man, we want to hear some theories.
Who gets it right.
We want to hear some theories, man.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah,
better. I need some theories that blow my mind, like what Daniel and Corky have said tonight.
Yeah. All right, that's episode 1 of our Stranger Things mini series. We'll be back in a couple weeks with episode 2. Until then, we're going to get on out of here. Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye.
Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fray. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. Now let's talk beats, we break down the sound. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Music that moves, lifts you off the ground. Tune into our rhythm, let the passion rebound. Let's reminisce, before we fight. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Let's reminisce, every song, every fight. We'll vibe through the shadows, shining our light. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. So plug in, we're on this ride tonight. Remember that, keeping horror in sight.